The freshwater puffer has been here just as long as the cichlids, but has remained virtually unchanged. Shellfish are its passion. Its mouth has been transformed into a powerful beak, the better to crunch crabs with. But even with a bite taken out of it, this one fights back. Puffers were highly specialized even before Lake Tanganjika was created. They evolved in the rivers that fed into the new lake. That they've endured so long is testimony to the success of their design. But specialist designs are difficult to change, and they were unsuited to taking over the virgin lake. Unable to adapt to living in the lake itself, the puffer survives only as long as it stays in its river delta home. Tanganjika's resemblance to the sea extends well beneath the surface. The first naturalists found shells here they believed had originated in the ocean, and they proposed that the lake had once been connected to it. Jellyfish, among others, certainly seem to have been spirited here from the sea. In fact, the lake has never been a part of the ocean, but over millions of years, animals have come to resemble marine creatures because they evolved under similar conditions. The lake even has its own sardines. And when they come inshore to spawn, the feast is on. He and his mate have come into the shallows to spawn. These tiny globes contain the future of their parents' evolutionary line, but they're also packets of high-energy nourishment, perfect food for other cichlids. For the next few weeks, the emperors cannot afford to drop their guard for a second, or even take time out to eat. The egg thieves are always waiting. Even while they keep the larger cichlids at bay, tiny sneak thieves get by, and one by one, the clutch is nibbled away. A water beetle's browsing is even more serious. It devours eggs as if popping bubble wrap. It may be its shape or its clumsy swimming, but whatever the reason, the emperor does not seem to recognize it as a threat. It should be easy for this armored heavyweight to get some cichlid caviar. Weighing in at 15 pounds, the terrapin is 3 times heavier than the parents. But a pair of cichlids defending their young is a force to be reckoned with. That's enough for the terrapin. This little snail presents cichlids with just such an opportunity, but only after the snail itself has died. Their shells can occur in the millions, covering acres of lake bed. As many as 20 tiny cichlids have evolved to fit into the shells, using them as both a refuge from predators and a spawning site. This cichlid is courting. The females of his kind are small enough to fit inside the shells, but the male is far too large. All he can do is squirt his sperm into the entrance. The female will raise her brood in the safety of her shell, while the male must cope with the dangerous world outside. But there is a definite advantage to being so big. He picks up shells to pick up females. Passing females are escorted by the male to his collection of shells. He shows off the accommodations, inviting her to move in. The more shells he has, the more females he can house in his harem. But building a harem from scratch is tiring and time-consuming. It's easier to raid those nearby, plundering shells and kidnapping females. For the many different cichlids who evolved into miniatures, these shells provide a haven. But just occasionally, they can become traps. The water cobra has evolved here in Tanganjika alongside the cichlids, and for the first year of its life, it is small enough to get inside the shells. Already, its venom is as potent as an adult's. One bite could kill a human. Millions of years ago, the cobra left the land to hunt in the lake, and now feeds almost entirely on fish. But water cobras are not the most serious threat to this cichlid's harem. He is surrounded, but not by his females. They're tucked inside their shells. His harem is being raided by midget males. While the harem master evolved into a giant, some males of the same species stay tiny and mimic the females. These transvestite dwarves, too puny to collect shells themselves, try to sneak a mating where they can.